Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast presented by our friends over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, Briar-Greaves Insurance are the best people in the business to work with. So check out briargreavesinsurance.com or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. Happy Thursday to everybody. We've had a great week of podcasts, but we've saved our best guest for the last, one of the newest Tampa Bay Buccaneers, part of this 2025 draft class. We'll get to him in a moment. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is the face that runs the place at pewterreport.com, SR, Scott Reynolds. And joining us for the first time on the Pewter Report podcast, very new to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, from SMU, the Bucs' fifth-round pick, Elijah Roberts. Elijah, thank you so much for joining the show. How's everything going?
It's been going good, man. I appreciate you saying you saved the best for last, man. That's really
yeah,
very
absolutely. we love having players on, especially new players that are just getting too accustomed to Tampa. Just want to know right off the bat, like, has it sunk in yet? How's it feel to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and how familiar are you, with Todd Bowles, the head coach, and the style of defense that you're going to be playing this year?
Man, it really hasn't really like hit me much. I think once I start practicing and I get in the building and stuff like that, it might hit me a little more. But I mean, obviously Undrafted, getting that call and stuff, there's like no feeling like it. So it for sure hit me that day for sure. So and then so really in the pre-draft process, I really didn't talk to either Todd Bowles or Coach Bowles or anybody on the Tampa Bay staff. It was more like almost like every other team besides Tampa Bay and at least like 4 or 5 other teams who I haven't really talked to much. But I mean, I'm a little familiar with their defense and their fronts and how they switch fronts from a 3 down to 4 down off fronts and even fronts like that. So I mean, I feel myself I could fit in really well, whether that's a 4-eye, 3 technique, 5 technique. I feel like I'll be able to just fit right into that defense, add some nice pass rush and some versatility as well.
You mentioned not really interviewing with the Buccaneers, and I was at the Combine. I actually interviewed you, for a couple minutes. And my question was, have you even interviewed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And you said no. And I was like crushed a little bit because I was a big fan of yours in the pre-draft process. We knew this team was looking for pass rushers, edge rushers, and you had gotten a lot of your sacks as an edge rusher, even though you're a big dude. And Todd Bowles typically likes to have a little bit more of the outside linebacker types. You've got the athleticism to play anywhere up and down the line. But when you told me that you had an interview with the Buccaneers, even informally, like I almost like texted Jason Light and like, did you watch any film on Elijah Roberts? This guy's really good, man. He's got 17.5 sacks over the last 2 years. So what was the element of surprise? Was this like kind of like a shot in the dark for you when the Buccaneers called you that you're like, okay, wow?
Yes, sir. Like all day, like anytime the Bucs would pick or just any team who I had to talk to of that matter, I was, really not expecting to get called then, but I do have a couple friends or boys or the former teammates who have always said, some teams who they talk to the least are usually the teams that usually give them that call. So, I mean, when it happened after the fact, I kind of remember those statements and stuff like that, but during the fact and like, the call, and then when I got the call and I heard Buccaneers, I was like, "Oh man, it's crazy!" Like I haven't really talked to him at all, so it was great though. It was great.
You're in great company. You've heard of Kalijah Kancey, certainly.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yes, sir. He's the first-round pick in 2023. The Bucs didn't interview him at the Combine either, and didn't even have him in for a 30 visit. So hey, you're in great company with Kalijah Kancey, man.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Sometimes all you need is the tape, and clearly your tape impressed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We want to talk about your time in college as well, going back to Miami and SMU. But in between that, you were able to play at the East-West Shrine Bowl. And funny enough, the East-West Shrine Bowl used to be in St. Petersburg, which is one town over from Tampa. And we used to go to it all the time. So if it was still there, we would have been able to see you, up close and personal. But at the East-West Shrine Bowl, while you did play edge, over at SMU, you had a lot of reps at defensive tackle during this event. And I'm just curious, How valuable was that for you to kind of go up against some other guards instead of like tackles and really show that you can do just about anything on the defensive line that made the Bucs really interested in you?
Yes, sir. I think it was very important, because all season that's kind of what I did. Early downs, I was more of an edge setter, run stopper guy, and then anytime it was a third down situation, we'd bring in an extra edge piece, and I'd bump inside to three technique, and then kind of have that mismatch on the guard. So I mean, at the East West Shrine, it was kind of the same idea. It was kind of harder early in the week because being an All-Star game or whatever, it was a lot of guys who kind of got nicked up. Some guys got sick up there and stuff, so we started to lose numbers as the week went on at the edge piece. So I kind of had to stay outside all game, but there was a plan for me to go inside and outside during the actual game. But during practice, like you said, in all the one-on-one reps, I was able to do everything from three technique, two eye to four to five. So I mean, it was really, really good just to get a, like I'm a competitor, so going against guys who are top competitors as well at their school, at their positions, it was great. It was a really good experience. I'm thankful for the East West Shrine for sure.
Yeah, the Bucs have Yaya Diaby, who
Yeah.
it was really more of like an inside kind of player, especially at the Senior Bowl. When he went to the Senior Bowl, he was playing inside the whole time. He's an outside linebacker in Tampa Bay, but in his days at Louisville, with the exception of his final season, he did a lot of his dirty work inside. So Todd Bowles loves the chess piece guys that have the flexibility to play that. We've even seen Kalijah Cansey and Vita Vea in some packages play the outside rusher, the defensive end in a four-man rush, and he'll use the outside linebackers on the inside against the guards. So Todd has got quite the imagination. And I think with your frame and your ability to do a lot of things, you're going to fit right in. Are you ready for that imagination?
Oh, yes, sir, of course. This is literally like, it was crazy because, not having talked to him and stuff, not knowing what I was going into, and just like looking at the defense, I don't feel like there was like any other team that I could have went to that would have fit me better. Like this is honestly going to be a perfect fit. Like you said, you got guys like Kalijah, Yaya on the outside, and then you got guys in the inside like Vita Vea, Logan Hall, and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's going to be some good packages where you could just throw me in there a little bit, just have me move around, rush the passer if need be, and if you need me to be an every down guy, I could do that as well.
Yeah, your defensive line coach in Tampa Bay is going to be Charlie Strong, who is new to the Todd Bowles coaching staff this year, but not to you. He was Miami's co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach in 2022, your final season with the Hurricanes before you transfer. What's it going to be like to reunite with Coach Strong? I'm sure he probably put a good word in for you. He was part of probably that scouting process that was hoping and praying to get you on day 3.
Yeah, man. Coach Strong's a great guy. He's a funny guy. If a lot of people didn't know, he's kind of a jokester, so just being able to kind of get in that room with him and kind of have that, bring that light again to football, it gets tough throughout the long season and stuff like that. So having a coach like Coach Strong would be great. And yeah, at Miami, he was our linebacker coach. So I didn't really work with him as much, but definitely saw him every day in the defensive unit meetings and stuff like that. So it's just crazy how small the football world is, man. Like, who would have thought I'd be playing for Coach Strong in my first year in the NFL? So it's crazy.
Yeah, everybody knows everybody. It's funny how that works. And when you went over to SMU, you certainly had a knack for getting after the quarterback. And on top of that, you were able to knock the ball out with a couple of strip sacks. I believe you had 4 during your time at SMU. The Bucs were looking for ball hawks. They want guys, obviously in the secondary, they want guys that can intercept the football, but they also want defensive linemen and edge rushers that can knock the ball out, create strip sacks, force fumbles. How important is that arsenal for you in your tool bag in terms of like a trick of the trade that you can go to help elevate your game? How important was that to you?
Yeah, man. It's very important. My defensive line coach at SMU, Calvin Thibodeau, he's a coach who always preaches, man, get the ball back to the offense. So anytime you're trying to get a sack, like just getting a sack is not good enough. As sometimes, of course, the opportunity may not be there for you to get the ball, but 9 times out of 10, if you're coming from the backside of a quarterback, man, you got to be reaching at that ball. So just being able to do that on top of my pass rush game, all that stuff is important. But it all starts in the run game for us at SMU. That's how it was every day
Yeah.
practice. We're starting with our run footwork and our run game because he used to always say, "Stop the run, have some fun." If you can't stop the run, and guys can run the ball on you. If guys can run the
It's
ball
not
on you
fun, is
all
it?
game, nah, it's not fun if they're running inside zone power,
Right.
counter right at your face every play. So I mean, if you're able to stop the run, then you're able to get into those little, pretty packages and stuff like that that Todd Bowles does have on third
Yeah.
downs. Like it's gonna be a great season.
Yeah. Third and twos are not fun. Like
No,
third and
no,
nine is
no.
fun, right?
Yes, sir.
For people that may not be terribly aware about SMU football, though you guys kind of put it up back on the map last year, making the playoff push. What are some of the games that you recall as being some of your best? Like if I'm going to go back and look at your tape, and I have, but I'm just saying for our audience out there, what are some of your highlight reel games? What are some of the games where you were feeling it, you patted the stat sheet? Anyone stick
Yeah.
out?
I would say for sure, like our last two games, even though we didn't win, but against Penn State in the
Hmm.
playoffs, I had a
Yeah.
pretty good game.
Mhm.
Against Clemson, I had a pretty good game as well. Even against teams like Louisville, Florida State, I mean, all those teams, I pretty much did my thing, of course. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to just watch how I am as a player, how SMU is as a team, man, just watch
Hmm.
the whole season from last season to this year. I think in both years we didn't lose a conference game one time. So I
That's
mean,
right. Yeah.
yeah, man, like, we were really, really good, and I was just blessed to be a part of that, man. Blessed to be a part of a team who kind of changed the whole trajectory of the program the last 2 years, man. It was really, really great to be a part of that and being able to be a team captain on that team, man. It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
That's actually what I wanted to ask you is,
Yeah.
the Bucs, they draft, especially in this year's draft, they like selecting not just the football player, but the person and the character. And it's no surprise that year in and year out, the Bucs are drafting a lot of team captains. So what did it
So,
mean to you to be a leader on that team, especially the year that the whole team had last year, making the college football playoff and really just having a special type of season?
man, it meant the world to me. Up until that point in college, I was never a team captain, so and I never like try to do the most and try to do stuff, out of character to try to
Hmm.
get that nod as team captain. I was just
Yeah.
always being myself, I'm a very supportive guy over my teammates. I'm a high energy guy, funny guy. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of just kept that mindset, man. I think it was like 2 days before the votes happened or after the votes were done, and my D-line coach called me. He was like, "Hey, Erod, man, act a little surprised in meetings, but he was like, but you got the most votes as team captain." I was like,
Oh,
"Wow."
wow.
He was like, "Yeah, like it wasn't even close." I was like, "Wow, that's crazy, coach." Like I didn't even, like obviously, I wasn't surprised. It was just like, I guess I was a little surprised to hear it, but I didn't
Hmm.
really felt like I did anything special. I was just kind of just being myself, man, and the guys kind of loved me for that, and I loved them so much for that as well.
Yeah. When you got to SMU, right? And I understand. Was it mostly just the playing time that you wanted, to get because you spent a couple of years at Miami, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
there's a lot of talented players there, but you're a talent yourself, and you certainly showed that. What allowed you to make such an instant impact? Your first year, you had 10 sacks and like 40 plus quarterback pressures. Where did
Yeah.
that come from? Was it just like some pent up angst because you hadn't seen enough playing time?
Man, so to answer the first part, man, like leaving Miami was hard. Like I'm a hometown kid.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I stayed for 3 years under two head coaches and three different D-line coaches just because like I wanted to make it work so bad in Miami.
Yeah.
Hometown kid, like that was my favorite team growing up. So
Yeah.
it was really, really hard for me to leave. And then I guess when I went to SMU, like I always knew I had the talent. I always knew I had the ability to be
Hmm.
a, you know, to be a good dude, like on the field, be a
Yeah.
good player, like a player that the team can rely on. It was just more of a I just needed the opportunity,
Yeah.
I just needed a chance to play more than just 10 snaps a game and get put in like situations. I kind of wanted to be the be the be the guy that you needed to make a play. Be
Yeah.
the guy on third down that everybody looked to make that play, make that stop. So when I went to SMU, honestly, like it was really just a matter of just opportunity. And then, like I said before, just a big thanks to my coach, Calvin Thibodeau, Scott
Hmm.
Simons, Rex Lashley. I mean, they put me in such like great positions, man. Like I played everything from a nine technique to D tackle while I was there. I mean, I
Yeah.
dropped back sometimes into coverage. I would rush from a 5, from a 7, from a 3. So I mean, I was able to do so many different things there that it brought out the best in me for sure.
Was there any adjustment period, just like moving to a completely different place, unfamiliar surroundings? Was that a bit of a culture shock, or did you just kind of fit in right away?
I mean, not really. You know how college ball is. Like once you get there, you kind of start spring ball, and then you start classes, and
Yeah.
then you might have a little bit of break, and then you jump right into fall training, and then you have fall camp. So I mean, it was a lot of stuff that kept me busy. I mean, obviously being home or being away from home, I would say it was definitely a little different. That was my first
Yeah.
time ever even being in Texas, so I mean, it was definitely a little different. But I mean, I had a few guys from Miami who transferred over there as well, so
Yeah.
everything kind of made the transition a little smoother. Even Coach Rhett came from Miami, so I
That's right.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like there was a lot of people who were there who kind of made me feel like I was at home, man. But like I said, once I got there, like I was so focused on ball and so focused on just getting to the player that I knew I could be. So just being able to
Mhm.
just get there and just stay locked in, it wasn't really a hard transition at all.
When do you,
Yeah. Go
sorry,
ahead,
just one
man.
last thing.
Yeah.
Like, when do you think that the NFL was a true reality for you? That
Yeah.
like, hey, I can make it at the next level.
Man, after that first year at SMU, I mean, for sure, like just having the scouts come around and people think that I was gonna leave after that year, it
Mhm.
was it was like really, really crazy for me to even like hear those kind of talks. Because even after my first year at SMU, knowing that I had another year, like I always knew, okay, I'll be coming back. Because
Yeah.
this is only my first year playing, so
Yeah.
like I really wanted to just kind of just develop a little bit more, and I still
Yeah.
got a lot of developing to do as well. But just being able to play another year of just kind of learning the game a lot more. And I think like me staying actually like helped me a lot mentally,
Yeah.
helped my IQ a lot, helped my talent, grow a lot.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's definitely probably when it hit me after that first year, just knowing like, man, like I could really be in the NFL in the next few years for sure.
Yeah, that's so smart because I think some players they make the jump from, from college to pro too early because their goal is to make it to the league, but the goal really
Hmm.
needs to be to stay in the league, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
one thing to get drafted, it's one thing to make an NFL team, it's another thing to stay there for 5 to 10 years, right? I mean, that's
uh
really the goal is to play football, not just make a football team. So
yeah,
I think you did the right thing there, certainly. And I think the NIL, the NIL gets kind of criticized, it's taking away players' hunger and all that stuff. At the same time, I think it's making the process better because we're seeing more upperclassmen staying
hmm
in school for one more year. They're incentivized to do so. And generally speaking, I think they become better football players and more NFL ready. Either they physically mature, they mature from a mental and emotional standpoint, that they're ready to make that leap after staying that extra year. So that certainly benefited you to have what 7.5 sacks
yes,
and
sir.
another 40 plus pressures. But one thing that I was going to ask you about is you suffered a broken hand that cost you a couple games last year. How difficult was that to deal with, knowing it was your senior year that you had come back? And more importantly, the Mustangs are making that playoff push.
Yeah, it was definitely tough, just because how it happened. My coach tried to put me out of the game earlier, and I
Hmm.
was like, Coach, man, like our starters are still in, their starters
Yeah.
are still in. Like let me stay at least like one more drive, and that drive
Yeah.
is literally when it happened. So it was, it
Always
was
how it
just
goes.
yeah,
Which
it
game
was
was that
just crazy
against?
against Pitt.
Pitt.
It was
Okay. Yeah.
against Pitt. I think it
Yeah.
was like third quarter maybe,
Yeah.
and we were putting a pretty good beating on them. But
Yeah.
it was still early in the game, so it was just one of those things where I kind of just being a competitor that I was, just wanted to stay in the game, and then I got blessed because that next week was a bye week, and
Yeah.
then
Oh, okay.
the week after was Boston College, so
Yeah.
I ended up missing the bye week, and then I missed Boston College. But once I got back, I'm in the doc. He told me I could either wrap it up and
Yeah.
then play with the club up until I think I took it off, maybe conference championship game, and then
Hmm.
or I would have to just sit out until the conference championship game. I was like,
Yeah.
no, doc, put that club on and let's go.
Yeah.
I was ready to
Respect it.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, it was definitely a little tough. That was kind of like my first time having an injury during season that kind of like
Yeah.
kept me from games. Everything else was more like off season. You get it repaired and then I'm back. So
Yeah.
it was definitely tough, especially having the season that I was and
Hmm.
it was a little tough, man, but just being able to, I was team captain, man. So just kind of, putting on that mask for them and just showing the guys I'm still here every day, still here to
Yeah.
help out any way I can, coach up guys any way I can. And then I also made me feel a little better because the guys behind me were able to get more snaps, were able to get more experience. So leading up into this year, they'll be able to be ready for it.
You mentioned the beating that you guys put on Pitt. You're going to strut into that defensive line room with some bragging rights over Kalijah Cansey and also Servassier Dennis, who was the middle linebacker who also played at Pitt as well.
Yes, sir. And we played Kalijah in high school as well, and we put a pretty good beating on him there too.
Oh, did you?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Did you go up against him? Were you? What's the age difference between you guys? You guys are.
I was a sophomore. He might have been a junior or a senior, maybe.
Okay.
A junior, yeah. So.
Okay.
So you go from playing against him, now you're going to be teammates with him, along with Vita Vea, who's revered as one of the best nose tackles and defensive tackles in the league. How beneficial is it going to be to learn from those two guys specifically, knowing what they've already done in the NFL?
Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be great. Kalijah was actually the first guy to reach out to me from the team. He just DM'd me. I can't remember what he said exactly, but probably just something like let's get to work, something like that. Yeah. So man, just having a guy like him who's very good at very different things than Vita Vea is. So just being able to pick their brains, guys who have done it at a high level, at a very high level at that, just being able to kind of pick their brains, be a sponge as much as I can these next few years, man. Just being able to learn as much as I can. I feel like I'm a very talented player, a very high IQ guy, but I mean, no one knows everything. So there's going to be a lot for me to learn, even like off the field stuff, like how to get into a routine, how to stay locked in. How to stay locked in during a long season, coming from college where we haven't played anything over 14 games in a year. So just being able to kind of just pick their brains on every little thing on how to take care of my body. And, everyone's body's different. Everyone's different. But just being able to pick their brains along with other guys on the team as well. It's going to be great.
When you look at, you're talking about like coming in and you've got different body types with Vita Vea, who's 347 pounds. You've got, Kalijah Cansey, who's like 6 foot, 280, right?
Yeah.
Two completely different sides of the spectrum. And then you have a guy like Logan Hall, who's 6'6", about 290 pounds. When I watch you on tape, it's hard to imagine that you're a big dude. You're 285, 292 now. But you don't move like a 285-pound guy. You move like you're about maybe 255, 260. Where does that speed come from? And we know you're powerful, you're a strong guy, but I mean, you're got an incredible build to you. When you have that work and the speed and the power, that's just something else, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I mean, man, I've kind of always been like a quicker guy, even when I was younger. I mean, I've always had pretty good speed for my size, and then being able to go into the professional level, man, like I can't wait to see like what my body does, and just how I get my body like into tip top shape, and just see like how much faster I can be, how much powerful I can be, man. Like it's gonna be great. So just being able to just live in the facility, use up all the resources, the weight room, the training room, nutrition, and just being able to transform my body and just transform my game, man. I honestly can't wait to see how far along, I could come for sure.
Yeah, you just mentioned a moment ago that Kalijah Cansey had reached out to you. Have you spoken to any of your new Bucs teammates yet?
No, not yet. I know a few of them follow me on Instagram and stuff like that. So I mean, the guys seem pretty, welcoming. And I just can't wait to just be a part of that defensive line group for sure.
Speaking of the defensive line group, we were talking about some guys like Vita Vea, 347 pounds, and Kalijah was like on the lighter side, 290. One of your new teammates, you may have heard, is a guy by the name of Desmond Watson, 6'6". Well, he was 464 at his pro day. He's actually whittled down to 437 right now. What do you know about this guy? He is an absolute monster in the middle in terms of being that run stuffer. I mean, he makes offensive linemen look small.
Yeah. The craziest thing about that, we're actually signed to the same agent.
Really?
Yeah. So very familiar with him. We're both signed to Grady Sports Agency.
Okay.
So I mean, that's the best agent right there in the world. So
there you go.
Having a guy like him, man, it's been great. But yeah, Big Des, man, we actually trained down in Fort Lauderdale together. Well, he was, I think, in like Aventura, maybe. I was in Fort Lauderdale, but I think the week before the combine, I saw him move at our mock at our mock combine, everybody was there at the same location, and I saw him moving. I was just like, man, there's no way. Like, there's no way he's over 425 moving like that. He
Yeah.
moved crazy. Like his
Right.
speed, his quickness, and just seeing him do his sprints and his get offs, I was like, man, like
He's
there's
an
no way.
incredible athlete, isn't he, for
Oh
his
yeah,
size?
he is. He is, man. He really, really is. So I mean, hopefully, he's on the team as well, man. And we could just, do some damage, man. He's gonna be really, really good in the NFL for sure.
It's kind of crazy. He's admitted, obviously, he's got a weight problem, right? And the cool thing is Vita Vea is like his professional idol, right? And Vita, being a big Samoan guy, he's had some weight issues too. And he came in to camp last year, svelte, like, as svelte as Vita could be, probably around 340 or so, but in really good shape. He worked out with Ndamukong Suh in the offseason, had his second Pro Bowl season, had a career high in terms of sacks with 7. So maybe, Desmond and Vita being on the same team, that can get this guy, slim down. And I'm like kind of fantasizing, like, God, if this guy could play at 380 or 400 even, right?
Yeah.
And the great news, he's lost weight. He's down to 437 and moving in the right direction. But if this guy can play at 400 or 380, he would be even more effective and more lethal.
Man, if you could plug him and a Vita Vea inside on those third and shorts, man, there's no more tush pushes,
It's
There's no
done
more.
for.
It's done, man. You got those two guys right there, man. You'll be pretty set, man. So like you said, I mean, if he could learn from a guy like that and just being able to learn how to maintain, learn how to diet and stuff like that, which in the league it'll be a lot easier. In college, I know it's kind of harder, especially if you're having classes and you're getting out at 7 o'clock and things like that, So you kind of just eat what you can find. But I mean, he'll be able to really, really get in there and really change his body for sure.
Yeah.
Elijah, did you have any favorite players growing up?
I wouldn't say like specifically, but like I remember when I first started playing D-line, there were a lot of guys who I just started watching, like a DeMarcus Ware, even like guys nowadays who I watch, like Chris Jones, and guys who are just very versatile. Cam Jordan, I used to watch him a lot. Khalil Mack used to be like one of my favorite players if I had one. So I mean, I really used to like to just watch any kind of defensive lineman, guys who I feel like I can mimic more. Obviously, it's cool to watch all the cool spin moves and the dips around the edge from the guys like the Michael Parsons, the Max Crosby's and stuff like that. But I mean, any D lineman who I feel like I could kind of mimic and take little bits and pieces from are guys who I really like to watch for sure.
We have a couple questions from some fans who are watching here. You got quite a fan base already here. So Rolf Steinbauer wants to know: do you have a preferred nickname? Do you have a nickname that you earned in high school, college, something your parents gave you?
I mean, in college and high school, everybody either called me Big E or just E-Rob. So I mean, either one works. Either one works.
And then this question's getting like a ton of play here, so let's go ahead and ask it. What jersey number are you hoping to wear? The reason why we asked that is because you were sporting a really cool solo number right there, 5, right?
Yeah.
At SMU. What number are you targeting? What number have they given you? I don't know if they've had that conversation with you yet.
Yeah. So I haven't had a talk with them about a jersey number yet, but honestly, I mean, like I've never been a guy who cares about a jersey number. So anything works as long as it's not like a 73 or something like that. I'll be good. So
keep it out of the 70s. All right.
Yeah,
so,
as long as it's not like in the 60s or 70s, man. Like I'll be fine. Like I really don't mind. I just want to go play ball. Honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
I respect that.
But we also have a super chat here. From Grizz, $2 super chat. Excited to have you as a Buck, Elijah. So you're getting
Thank you, man. Thank you guys so much
from the chat. Let's take a quick gander here. Would you like to stay in the solo numbers like Yaya Diaby is 0?
So 5 is available.
5 is available. Yeah.
I mean, if I had the chance, man, like that'll be great. If I was able to keep 5, man, I would be that man. Like I probably just go just a little bit harder just because I had the 5 on. But I mean, honestly, man, like I said before, man, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sure.
Elijah, just curious because Bucs fans like to know the person as much as the player. Is there anything you want Bucs fans to know about you, or any hobbies that you might have outside of football?
I'm a huge gamer. I just made a Twitch think the night of the draft. So I mean, I haven't even posted anything. I don't think I have a profile picture up yet. So I mean, I plan on doing a little bit there, but I mean, I just been so locked in with trying to work out and just stay recovered and stuff like that. So I probably won't start that up anytime soon. But huge gamer, man. And then once I get to Tampa, I mean, if anybody has any recommended spots, anything to do, like outside stuff to do, I have a girlfriend who I've been with a long time, so we're definitely gonna be looking for stuff just to do and get outside the house. 'Cause I'm definitely a homebody for sure.
Yeah, a lot of great food and restaurants here and things to do in Tampa. So yeah, you'll be fine.
Shonda Roberts says he got his speed from his mom. So
I see it. I know.
Shout out to Shonda Roberts right there for like letting everybody know what's up when it comes to the speed there. What did you run at the combine?
I ran a 4.7.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's crazy good for like in the 280s. Holy smokes. So what is your optimal weight? Because you played in the 280s. You're up to 292 now, but at the same time, life on the inside, you're going to be going up against grown men. Like, I don't know if you've heard of old man strength, right?
Yeah,
like, I'm 53. I could whip both my boys, and they're like in their 20s. Just because I'm a grown man. Sorry, it's the truth. Okay. But when you go up against like 30 and 32-year-old, guards that have been in the league 10 plus years, they get families to feed. It's life or death in the trench. It is. And all of a sudden you're going up against 650 pounds of humanity with the double team. Like you need to have some beef too. The good news is like Logan Hall, when he was drafted in the second round, that he was a defensive end at Houston and moved inside to defensive tackle. He was like 270 something. And it took him about 2 or 3 years to get where you are right now into the 290. So you're already kind of ahead of the game. But what is that ideal weight that you kind of want to be able to kind of anchor in the middle when you're playing those defensive tackle reps?
Yeah, so at pro day I weighed in at 292, but since then, I've been able to drop a little bit. I think I'm like 286, 285 right now, but I plan on showing up to camp just around 285 just because I've heard so much about how I'm gonna be moving up and down the D line. Like I've heard all about, bouncing around from the outside backer room at times if they need me to going into the defensive line room at times. So I mean, I want to show up around 285, and then if they tell me, hey, Elijah, you need to gain 5 to 10 or you need to lose 5 to 10, I'll do that. But I feel like a good weight for me to be at is 285. I think with my arm length and my quickness and my strength, I'll still be able to hold up pretty well inside for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, number 5 would look good. I'm just saying, like, let's make it happen. Let's speak into it.
And you gotta factor in all the weight you're gonna lose in training camp with just being out in the heat in Tampa and sweating through a training camp practice.
For sure.
Yeah, it's the last one for me because, like, you're from Miami, right? So you're used to the subtropical climate down here, the heat, humidity, and all that. It wasn't any cooler in Dallas, was it?
Oh, no.
I mean, Midwest heat. I'm from Kansas State, so like I grew up in Kansas City. So Midwest heat is a different level of oppression when it comes to heat. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but like it's just different because it's a drier heat out there. But but having those 2 brutally hot summers and training camp and stuff has got to be, it's not like you're coming like from Vita Vea when he came from the northwest down here and felt this for the first time. You're used to these conditions.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been out here my whole life playing little league in the heat, high school, college, and then going to Dallas. I actually thought Texas was hotter during the summer, man. It was like there's no breeze. It's just heat.
No breeze,
There's no breeze. It's just heat.
What I'm saying.
Like I remember seeing heat waves on the field after practice, and I was like, yeah, this is ridiculous. So
and then when the wind blows, it feels like somebody's walking around behind you with like a hair dryer turned on.
Yeah, like a blow dryer or something, man.
Like
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
I remember those days. Yeah. Elijah Roberts, appreciate your time today. Yes. We're excited to cover you. I'm a big defensive line guy, as our audience knows. Just it's my favorite spot on football teams. Love pass rush, and I'm glad. I know you're glad that even though you didn't get the interview at the combine, that this team still made the right call and got you in the 5th round. So congratulations on becoming a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys for having me. All the fans, I appreciate the love, man. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to officially just be a Buck, man, for sure.
We'll see you at Bucs rookie minicamp next week.
Yeah, sounds great.
Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, sir. I'll see you guys next week, man. Don't be strangers.
All right.
You got it. We'll
Yes, sir.
see you, man.
Yes, sir.
That's Elijah Roberts. Steal on day
Yeah.
3. One of 3, really. David Walker, Tez Johnson, Elijah Roberts. I mean, Matt, you and I did the live draft show.
Yeah.
Before 50,000 fans. I got to say that again, just because, like, we weren't expecting the turnout that we got. So thank you, Pewter people, so much for such a huge turnout last week. It was better than our wildest dreams. But when these picks happened, and the thing is, I know we were kind of like, we were kind of set on Jeffrey Bassa, right? And that was the kind of the guy we were hoping that we were going to get, to be perfectly frank. And that wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. And I got some scoop for you. I'm having SR's Fab 5 with tons of scoop on the draft tomorrow on pewterreport.com. It's Friday. It's Fab Friday, so make sure you check it out. One of the nuggets I'll share today that will be in the column tomorrow is the Bucs were not as high on Jeffrey Bassa as we were. Okay. And we were the only media outlet that liked Jeffrey Bassa. A lot of people did, and they liked Bassa, but they just liked Elijah Roberts more. And I think kind of the discussion in the 4th round was, gosh, we really like David Walker a lot. And obviously he was the pick in the 4th round, but they really liked Elijah Roberts too. And it wasn't even close between Elijah Roberts and Jeffrey Bassa. If Elijah Roberts had not been there, there's a chance they go Jeffrey Bassa. But that's how much they really liked Elijah Roberts, so much so that they picked him over maybe more of a need position,
immediate
like linebacker.
Need.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, and we were there and we were a little stunned that it wasn't Bassa because we had about 2 minutes to kind of recalibrate after the Chiefs jumped
so
ahead.
What's next? Yeah, that's
exactly. You talk about like a recovery. Now, it was not a recovery from the Bucs side, from the war room side.
From our side.
From our side, I remember thinking, holy smokes, where did this pick come from? Because they didn't interview him at the combine. They didn't have him in for a 30 visit. He was really not on the periphery at all, but a player that I absolutely loved. And like, as I said on the draft show with you, Matt, it's like, I remember talking to this guy at the draft, or I should say at the combine. Like, did you meet with the Bucs? No. I was like, what are they thinking? But man, what a great pick. Walker, Johnson, and then Roberts in between. I mean, that day 3 to me was just as impactful for the Buccaneers as picks 1 through 3 on days 1 and 2.
That's a big statement right there. And we should have known, right? You know, Jason Light loves the trenches. And I know we always talk about how Jason loves the offensive line, but he enjoys the defensive line just as much. So we should have known that at some point, if he wasn't going to go O-line this year, well, damn it, he's going to go with the D-line. And he did with Elijah Roberts. And, you know, I'm fired up about it now after getting to talk to him a little bit more. He seems like a really great guy. You could truly see the team captain in him with some of his replies and how he's very much a lead by example. I thought it was really cool kind of hearing his side of things about playing through an injury, which isn't easy, and playing with the cast when you're a defensive lineman and an edge rusher where you got to use your hands to win hand placement and stuff like that. So I'm even more fired up now than I was. And well, I mean, time will tell whether or not this draft class is something that truly works out. But I mean, the track record that Jason Light has, you have a good feeling about it.
Yeah, and just speaking to him, right? Because I mean, he did like the conference call. You and I were actually on the air at the time. I think.
Yeah, we were not there. I mean, I watched it after and read the comments and everything. But
it's just, we spent 30 minutes with the guy right here, and like, isn't he just like the next Emeka Egbuka, the next Benjamin Morrison, the next Josh Bear? I mean, he just kind of checks all those boxes. He is that man, right? When it comes to the Bucs and their character picks, he's a good guy, team captain. What stood out to me was, he kind of felt that pressure as a team captain, as a guy with the C on the chest, right? He breaks his hand, you know, had to miss the Boston College game. And then it's kind of easy to sit there and say, yeah, you know, I'm a senior. You know, I want to maybe focus on the draft now. So, you know, I'm going to cast this thing up and call it a day. No, he felt kind of that internal pressure as a captain. It's a good pressure, right?
Yeah, it is.
Responsibility. Hey, I got to be out there for my teammates, man. So cast this bad boy up, and we're going to go out there and play ball. And I think that's, you know, that's the team-oriented approach that Todd Bowles, Jason Light, they love is guys that just will do anything and everything for the team. It's not about them. It's about the team. And this is just one more guy. And I think all of them really have that about him. Emeka Egbuka, right? He shared targets with the likes
everyone.
of Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jeremiah Smith this past year, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Benjamin Morrison is that guy. I just watched the tremendous video that Notre Dame put out about this kid. The character is off the charts. Jacob Parrish is one of those guys at K-State that just made an impact as a freshman, got on the field and just had that toughness, tenacity, great teammate. David Walker, right, had the C on his chest his final year at Central Arkansas and never wanted to leave the program because his brother went there, right?
Yeah.
He could have gotten bigger deals elsewhere, NIL, going to, play for Power 4 schools, but opted to stay there. We just spoke with Elijah Roberts, Tez Johnson was the best receiver at Oregon. He set records there despite being the smallest dude, on the team and one of the smaller guys in college football. He is a 5'10", 154-pound guy that plays like he's 6'4", 225. He didn't move that way, but just the attitude that he plays with, the fearlessness he plays much bigger than his size.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Tez Johnson, I mean, his press conference is just so electric. Like I've gone back and watched it
again.
Yeah, so did I. Cut some stuff up from it too, and I'm very excited about him. But yeah, Elijah Roberts, it's not exactly Ronnie Lott cutting off his finger, but it's almost like the 2025 version of it with the self of the just the impact of like having that self-responsibility, I think will come in droves.
Yeah.
Now at the NFL level. And he's coming into an interesting spot. He's certainly going to have to work his way into a lot of playing time. And even if he's at his best, it's still not going to take away from Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey. But in terms of like someone that's going to come in and I think he said himself, be a sponge. And I know a lot of, recent draft picks say that they want to learn everything. But I think he's going to really take it to heart more than most. And, the Bucs, I think in recent years, like we're still getting new to this open transfer portal and NIL and all this stuff. But the Bucs have gravitated towards guys that have stayed in one spot or have, like Chris Braswell, we talked about it on yesterday's show, is the perfect example of, and 2 seasons ago or 2 episodes ago, the perfect example of somebody that chose not to transfer and just kind of work through the hard times, then eventually become a starter. And I think that really, appealed to the Buccaneers. This is a little bit of a different example of somebody that actually did transfer, but you hear him talk about, how difficult that was and how he did everything he could to stay. Like he wasn't just transferring schools. He was transferring from his hometown, a team that he grew up watching, his family and everything else involved. So for him to do that and then immediately find that success, I think is really cool. And I think that'll help him, now everybody is transferring from their college to whatever NFL team they're playing for. And, there's a lot of other factors involved, which another thing that he brought up was obviously learning how to play in the NFL, but learning the lifestyle, the finding a regimen that works for him, how to get the proper weight at the NFL, all these different things that I think get so overlooked when somebody's going to a new area. So he already seems ahead of it in that aspect of it.
I liked, you talked about like the IQ level, right? The football IQ and all of that.
Second year at SMU.
Yeah, he's already thinking about like the end of his rookie season, right? It's one thing to like, have one eye, on today, then the other eye on the future. Like that's kind of how you have to live your life, right? And he's looking at the end of his rookie season, and he even said, the most games that people typically play are 14, right? And the NFL season is 18 weeks long, 17 games. And guess what? As a rookie, he's going to be playing in all 3 of those preseason games. So his season is really going to be 20 games long.
And the Bucs have a good chance of making the playoffs. That too.
Absolutely.
So a couple more.
Yeah. So. Well, I think too, you talked about finding his spot in the rotation, and as day 3 guys, the one area they can come in and impact is special teams. And guys like Will Golston and Anthony Nelson have been staples on special teams, right? Will Golston's been a staple on that field goal block unit and PAT block. And I can see, and you see him right there in the middle, number 5, I can see that being Elijah Roberts, kind of filling in that spot where Will Golston has played. And maybe he has, with his frame, the ability to also play on the field goal and PAT protection units like we see Anthony Nelson play, where he's kind of that wing guy. So that's an area too that while he's going to biding his time to get on the field and work into those rotations, he'll have the opportunity to contribute on special teams and be impactful on fourth down as well.
Day three guys, as we talk about, have to be able to play special teams. And, that's not always easy for defensive linemen. But he obviously has the quickness and agility to certainly get that job done.
Yeah. And speaking of about getting the job done, the folks over at Briar Greaves just wanted to remind you, hey, hurricane season, I know it's like a dirty word around here in Florida, but it's something we have to live with. And we thought we were, the coast was clear last year until we had those 2 hurricanes in late October. Is that when they were? All I know is I basically had Hurricane 3 level winds at my house up here in Wesley Chapel, which was crazy. But hurricane season is around the corner. And the one thing that you need to be aware of in the state of Florida is if you have homeowners insurance, that can protect your roof and that can protect some of the things in your house unless there's flooding. If you live in a flood zone, having homeowners insurance does not protect your house, your belongings from water, from floods. So you need a special separate policy for that. And I think a lot of Florida homeowners learned the lesson the hard way when the Tampa Bay area got hit with not but 1, but 2 hurricanes last year, especially on the coast. So do yourself a favor, get ahead of the game, call Briar Greaves Insurance. They're my insurance agent. The late, great Mark Cook turned me on to them years ago. I have them for my homeowner's policy and also for my auto policy. I don't live in a flood zone, so I don't have flood insurance, but a lot of people in Florida need that. If you live on the water, you might have a boat. You're going to need boater's insurance as well. So give Briar Greaves Insurance a call. At the very worst, here's what's going to happen. You're going to do like an introductory phone call, and you're going to say, hey, would you mind checking the rates? This is, what my situation is. And they're going to check the rates for you for free. They're going to find out, are you paying too much with your current insurance company? Can they get you better coverage for less money? They did that for me with both my home and my auto policies. So do you want to save some money? I know I did. Give Briar Greaves Insurance a call at 813-876-4166 or visit them on the web at briargreavesinsurance.com. That's BRIER, Greaves, GRIEVES, insurance.com.
Let's get to some comments. Jeff the Champ says, who's a Pewter Report YouTube channel member, says, seems like a great dude with great in all caps.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. And we've actually really kind of been blessed because I think the byproduct, Matt, as we in the media, when Jason Light and Mike Beal and Rob McCartney and all of the scouts and Todd Bowles, when they draft these players, they're drafting great people. And it doesn't mean they're going to be great interviews necessarily. Some guys are more talkative than others, right? Some guys have more of a personality. But what we found, at least in my time with the Buccaneers, certainly since Todd Bowles has been the head coach, these are good guys to talk to, right? They have a lot to say. They're thoughtful people. Some of these guys are characters, like Cody Mauch's a bit of a character,
Yep.
So it kind of helps us do our job too, because they're not drafting assholes, they're drafting really good people that are good to get to know. And of course we love having them on the Pewter Report podcast. And we also love doing stories on them, things like that. So it's great for the fan base. It's also great for the media. And I mentioned Mike Beal, and Mike is going to be making his debut. He is Bucs Vice President of Personnel. He is going to be on the show next Tuesday at 4:00 to talk about the undrafted free agents. We've had so many comments and questions. When are you guys going to talk about the undrafted free agents? Well, we've talked about some of them, guys like Desmond Watson, right? Guys like John Bullock, the linebacker, who just by virtue of the position and the Bucs numbers, he's got a shot. He's going to get a look. J.J. Roberts from Marshall is a player that we had as a Bucs best bet day 3 for the safety position. And we're going to get his thoughts on Roberts, who was signed as a free agent. We'll talk Shiloh Sanders. We'll talk about a player that Greg Allman from Fox Sports talked about with you yesterday.
Yep.
He's already interviewed him. Ben Chekwuma, who got the most money out of any undrafted free agent, not just in Tampa, but in the league. as an offensive tackle out of Georgia State with a great story and some great tape. So we're going to find out all of the tryout guys and which guys we should keep our eye on. So it's going to be a great interview with Mike Beal for about 30 minutes on Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Again, got a promotion too. He has been at the heart of the Bucs college scouting, just about since day one. So nobody knows these undrafted free agents and even this college crop of players that became Bucs draft picks more than Mike.
He's been with the team for 12 years, so he's seen everything that there is to be seen with Bucs football. So very excited to have him on the show this upcoming Tuesday. Of course, tomorrow we have a Pewter Insider for our Pewter Report YouTube channel members, specifically our Platinum and Premier members at 1:30 tomorrow. We're talking about the future at linebacker in Tampa Bay. Levante David's back this season, but for how long? Servase Dennis looks to be the starter, but injuries may derail the plans for the Bucs at inside linebacker. We'll talk all about that tomorrow on the show. Speaking of, we got some super chats to get to. Sorry, those cut the line. Apologies to Supply and Demand, who did say SR loved your Devin Lloyd trade idea.
Thank you. I don't know that the Bucs feel the same way, but I threw it out there. I'm looking out for you guys. We need a linebacker in here for the future. Let's make it happen sooner rather than later.
For sure. Thank you to Steve Shute for this $20 super chat. Who says Elijah Roberts is not just a great football player, he's a tremendous young man who is supremely skilled. Those guys will take you far in the league. His temperament reminds me of a young Derek Brooks.
Wow.
LFG.
I know Steve, we've gone back a long time. He was a former Buccaneer magazine guy. So so he remembers Derek Brooks for sure. Listen, there is something to be said about guys that are team captains, that have taken on leadership roles, that have made maybe a switch from one situation to another. And it's one thing to go out to SMU and have like 5 sacks the first year, 7 sacks the next year. This guy hit the ground running, 10 sacks, 40 plus pressures. I mean, that was just incredible. And then to basically have the same type of production for a second straight year, he missed a game and was hampered a little bit with that broken hand. Otherwise, I think he probably gets to 10 sacks again. But yeah, just a tremendous young man. It was a great interview. We're very appreciative of Josh Capo, who helped set that up.
Thank you, Josh.
And also his agent as well. So it was good. We'll have more Bucs player interviews, and like I said, we've got Mike Beal on tap for Tuesday, who just got a promotion to the Bucs Vice President of Player Personnel. So we're excited about that.
That's right. And anyone that gets held in the same regard as Derek Brooks, regardless of if it's from a personality or a leadership standpoint or on the field, usually a pretty good thing. Malcolm Harvey, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, love the Elijah Roberts interview, guys. Yes, a lot of fun for sure. Appreciate everybody watching. And we'll try to get on some more players and personnel. Typically, players like to talk in front of big audiences. So the larger we can grow this this Pewter Report YouTube channel member, the more that players would like to come on. So make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But thank you. Yeah, I thought it was a great interview, talking, chatting with Elijah Roberts.
So here's our goal. Okay, we're at 18,000, just about 18,500 subscribers now. We had a huge influx.
We did
during the draft and all that stuff, thanks to you guys. So our goal, and I think we're going to do this. This is kind of like a reasonable goal here. There's no reason we shouldn't hit this, Pewter people. So we'd love to get to 19,000 by the end of training camp, right? So by, call it mid-August, we want to get 500 more. We want to get to 19,000. Then by the end of the season, we want to get to 20,000. Right? Can we make that happen? I think we can. Let's do it. We're getting close. You guys are helping us a lot. So if you haven't subscribed to Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, please do it. And we greatly appreciate that. We also love all of our Pewter Report TV channel members. And if you want to help support our efforts, please do so. Please become a channel member. We're doing the Pewter Insider. Tomorrow, we're going to continue this all the way through the summer, all the way through the football season for sure. So it's basically like a bonus podcast that only our Pewter Platinum and Premier members get. So this is a great way to get something cool and extra, in addition to the custom emojis that you can use in the chats and in the comments. Plus, we're going to have a Pewter Report get together. We're working on that. Mike Greenberg has agreed to come to that for our Pewter Platinum members. We just have to finalize a date, and I'm hoping to have that by next week, because I want to make sure it's not just the Pewter Report staff members that can interact with our Pewter Platinum members, but we have some Bucs personnel trying to get a player too. But Mike Greenberg will be there to meet with the Pewter Platinum members, answer questions, and all that stuff. We've also sent away some Pewter Report merch to our Pewter Platinum members as well, once they've hit a couple of months as members. So we greatly appreciate that. So if you want to, if you're inclined, please find the monthly amount that suits your budget, from $3.99 to $24.99, and we greatly appreciate it. What does the money do for us? A lot of things. It sends us to the Senior Bowl for our draft coverage. It sends us to the NFL annual meeting where we were at just a couple weeks ago, having that interview with Todd Bowles and Jason Light. Sends us to the NFL scouting combine in Indianapolis. We will also do a couple of road trips, I'm sure. We were in Jacksonville last year for just about a whole week on location, doing those games, doing those practices, joint practices with the Jaguars, and then the game as well. So all the money we get from our Pewter Report TV channel members, we put right back into the content for you guys. So, and then the last thing I'll mention before we get to one little parting second here is we also have the ability to promote your business as well. So you can help your business score some new customers by advertising with us. Sponsorship opportunities are available for the Pewter Report podcast, for pewterreport.com, as well as our social media channels. We're up to over 110,000 followers on social media. So if you have a business, you're a business owner, a manager, a marketing person for your business, and you're interested, email me at sr@pewterreport.com. I'd love to have a conversation with you.
That is right. So another fun show. It's been a great week. You know, we recapped the draft on Monday. Then we had Trevor Sikkema on Tuesday. Greg Allman was on yesterday with me, and then we had Elijah Roberts on today. So if you haven't checked out some of the other episodes we have this week, you can find it on our YouTube, or you can listen on Spotify and all those places where podcasts can be found. So in the meantime, if you're not already doing so, please follow us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We are at Pewter Report, and our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video below. We will have a Pewer Insider tomorrow, like we talked about. So in the meantime, for Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks everybody for watching. Have a great weekend, and we will see you soon for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.